Thank you so much, Joe. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Sending love and peace to you and all of your viewers. So once again, thank you for the opportunity. Well, in honesty, I was like 2 years old, 2 or 3. My mother was a concert pianist, and so she would play piano in the house. And when I was little, I started singing along and just to whatever she was playing. And she told my father that she has perfect pitch. Let's teach her some songs. And so they did. And they taught me How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, and Oh, Never Smile at a Crocodile. And then they put me in a pageant, and that was such a hit that they decided to teach me more songs and keep it going. Actually, I was a dancer first, and so they focused on dancing routines, and eventually they put my brother in the act. And so we started off as dancers and didn't really sing until much later. We incorporated it in and out of the dancing. They have always been supportive. They were always uh, introducing, new techniques of singing and this and that. And in high school, I won a scholarship to sing opera and be trained at USC. Well, at the time, my brother and I were working all around New York, and we developed quite a bit of a name for ourselves. We were called the Clark Kids. We were hired all over New York, singing and dancing, and so we were in a Broadway play for 8 months, which starred Pearl Bailey and Diahann Carroll. Diahann Carroll was 18 years old. It was her first job at the time. And so as we were in this Broadway play, which went on for, I want to say, 7 or 8 months, called The House of Flowers, producers happened to see us there from Columbia Records. And they came to the Broadway producers and they said, we'd love to have these kids come and do an LP. So the Broadway producers said, well, we can't loan them out because they're performing every day for, until the ends of time, until the show is over. But we were, of course, on Broadway, you go dark every Monday. So the producer said you can have them for 2 days tops. So the Columbia producers took us, and we were in the studio for 2 days straight with a full orchestra, singing and cranking out this album, which turned out to be a very good project. Then we went right back to the Broadway play.
Oh, Jellicoe, stay and play with me. Oh, Jellicoe, oh, Jellicoe, stay and play with me. You can take my sticks and my bag of tricks, but stay and play with me. I will give you fish and in a dish, just stay and play with me.
I was an Ikette in 1967. I believe I was out by 1968 because of that horrible bus accident where I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. But I remember being auditioned by a woman named Ann Kane. I remember she found my number somehow, and she called me and asked if she could come over. And so she came to my apartment and she said, would you sing and dance for me? In which case I did. And so I was so surprised when she said, wow, you're great. Okay, you fly out in the morning. And I was dumbfounded because I didn't know it was going to happen that fast. Well, for one thing, I think all the best music came out of the 60s and 70s. You know, it may be a little prejudiced, but really, I had a lot of musical heroes that were in and on Broadway and in Broadway shows. Like, I love things like Damn Yankees and West Side Story and Oklahoma, and that's the kind of music that I followed back in the day. I had to heal from the bus accident in Los Angeles before I could do any more work. But oddly enough, 7 months after the accident, I was able to dance again. And that's what I was doing with Richard. That was very different. First of all, in a way, I was really scared to travel in buses and tour vans again. But my dance partner and I, a tall, elegant dancer named Byron Gilliam, who danced for Playboy After Dark, and he was on Laugh-In. He and I opened the show for Little Richard. We did 2 dance numbers, and then Richard would come out and do his, his thing, Good Golly Miss Molly and all of that. And I do remember asking Richard every week, are you going to let me sing? Can I sing this week? And he would always say, okay, next week, okay, next week. And of course, it never happened, so I remained a dancer with Richard for that tour. Carolyn Willis and I were in a group called the Cover Girls, and she and I and Shirley Matthews would sing background sessions for many well-known artists all over town. And it just so happened that sometimes Carolyn would work with Edna, with another girl, possibly the late, great Clyde King. But I did not know Edna until we got to the soundstage for Andy Williams, and I met her there, and it just so happened that Eddie Holland was watching at Edna's urging, and he liked what he saw, and that's how we became the Honeycomb.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I love you. Together, together, that's how it must be. Oh, how I love you. So say a little prayer for me. Say a little prayer for me.
I think all of us, of course, like the Supremes and all the girls groups on Motown and others, but we didn't want to be like them. We wanted to have our own style and not be such a stuffy kind of group with the gowns and the gloves. Coming from Los Angeles, and later on, we had sort of like a hipper concept that we wanted to be, but we enjoyed listening to all the 60s, 70s great groups. We actually did sometimes our own harmonies. Carolyn Willis was really good at hearing backgrounds, and so mostly Lamont Dozier was the one that would do the harmonies, but Carolyn was the one that would put it all together. She's a great, great singer. And as far as having anything to do with the lineup, only for stage. We had not too much to do with anything like that for the LPs. The producers and the label, they would put that kind of thing together, but for the stage, we could do our own set list, yes. Carolyn Willis, as you may or may not know, did retire from the industry and really doesn't want to be performing anymore. But instead, she's become a bit of a Martha Stewart, and she has her own garden. She grows her own vegetables. She does everything that Martha Stewart does. She makes clothing, and so the answer to that is yes, we keep in touch periodically. Mary just knew right away that she wanted me for the group. She never asked me to audition. In her book, she states that Shelly was my first choice. She had a #1 hit on Billboard charts, across the world. And so she knew that, she didn't need to audition me. But when she came to my house, she did ask me what I consider. And she was very kind. Mary's the sweetest person you could ever know. But I told her that I wanted more control over my life, in which case, when you're in a group, you're having to consider suggestions from the other girls, from the management, from the record company. And I had my experience with that, with the Honeycomb. And I just said I wasn't going to do any more girls groups, but I would do other things in the industry. I was the star of that show, and Verdine was the one that ended up being the music supervisor. So it was a great show, kind of like Solid Gold on that order. Well, I can say that that was so much fun being a celebrity model for the San Diego Fashion Week. I loved all of it, watching all the models and going into makeup and this and that, and they treated me so well with such respect. That was probably my only modeling job, but I've been on, like, I want to say maybe 50 red carpets, and that's a modeling job in itself, just without the runway. So I'm forever working with stylists for clothing and trying to stay cutting edge on what's hip and what's current. Well, we're sending love back to you, João, and I'm very honored that you chose me to want to interview. And, you know, without all the love and support of the fans, then we artists are really nothing without you guys. So once again, thank you, and we'll do part 2 anytime you like. Bye.